right. Seems to be working. Little audio test. Testing 1 2 1 2. 10, 20, 27, 34, 44, 54, 61, 67. No, 68. 78, 88, 95, 102, 112, 119, 126, 136, 146, 153, 160, 170, 180, 187, 194, 204, 214, 221, 228. Hello, Lola. Yes, the stream is starting. You coming in? People are just trying to guess the sequence that I'm doing. Come on in, dog. Come on in. Get yourself a seat. Get up here. All right. Has anyone got the sequence in chat? Let me just take a quick peek. This is the cold open. Don't worry. We won't be wasting too much time. We'll be getting right into the show. I'm not even going to give you a skip ahead warning, but has anyone picked up the sequence? What was the sequence? Channel. Lola, just go up and have a seat. Relax with us. Chill. Sequence. What was the sequence? There we go. Sucking at math. Yes, a little guessing game. It is Sarah Boone. That's your clue. I will start again, just for anyone who's got here late. 10, 20, 27, 34, 44, 54, 61, 68, 78, 88, 95, 102, 112, 122, 129, 136, 146, 156, 163, 170, 180, 187, 194, 204, 214. All right, I don't think I'll make you guys go much further. I'm counting by 10, 10, 7, 7s. That was counting by 10, 10, 7, 7s. That's that. All right, are we ready to have some fun? I think we are ready, so let's not waste any more time. Better hold on to the pen. It's supposed to be 4 taps. Well, let's get ready to ramble. It's midnight in Berlin. It's 11 p.m. in London. And in Lowell, they're just cleaning up after an indigestible dinner. I'm your host, Dan D, and this is the Friday Night Ramble. What have we got in store for you tonight? This is going to be my mail it in show. I've been busy all month, and I told myself I'd take one day off. So what we're going to do is just revisit past work I've done. Tonight's block, 2 Sarah adjacent criminals. We have Hot Sarah, Sarah Clausen. Sarah Clausen is similar to Sarah Paulson in that she killed a Hispanic man. We'll get more on her later. We also have Tammy, Stand By Your Son Wynette from Ohio. She's infuriating. The whole case is infuriating. If you were in Suma's live stream yesterday, you know where I'm going with this. If you weren't, I'll give you enough to find out more. B block, we're having fun. We're going to revisit the phone call, the jail phone call that I recited that was written by But I Don't Think of You. Just be playing it, pausing it, chatting, reading comments, just having a good time, enjoying each other's company. So that's that. I don't need to guess the sequence. Oh, yeah. So who is Hot Sarah? There is... Oh, now I'm Hot Sarah. We'll just leave that up for now. And then we'll finish in the C block. We'll talk about a couple other side interests. We're going to do a shout out. Everyone can shout out whatever channels they are currently enjoying and want to share with other people. So we're going to do a little shout out and subscribe to our competitors, and then just freeform chat. So let me just duck out of this and show you. Oh, you know what? We'll show you Sarah. That's Sarah Clausen. Sarah Clausen is from Washington State. She was drinking and driving and hit a man named Jose Vega Sanchez, who was riding his motorcycle below the speed limit. Her vehicle veered into his lane, trapped him underneath. She tried to drive away. There was witnesses that saw that. And because of her relation to law enforcement, she kind of, she got bonded out. She's still free awaiting trial. We'll get more into that, but that's the beginning. We're going to continue. So yeah, I'm not really giving too much info on Hot Sarah, but there's a little bit more. That's her getting booked. And the only reason I say Hot Sarah, it's not to, boost the ego of a criminal, but just in comparison to our Sarah, definitely hotter Sarah, right? So the next court date is going to be March 11th, and her lawyer is asking for a trial to be put off till May 18th. So we'll see what the results of the March 11th trial are. I will be following this case and keeping you guys up to date in the rambles, if it's just in the A block, to let you know what's gotten moved and what's changed. This is a look of her. That's her look immediately after the accident. Dead man underneath her car, and she's chatting it up with cops on the scene. So that is Sarah Clausen. That is Sarah Clausen's victim. We'll take a second for him. Jose Vega Sanchez, killed by drunk Sarah Clausen in Washington State. Pending trial. So alleged, but she's the one on the scene. It happened. It's just a question of how it gets categorized. So that's that. Then we also have Tammy, Stand By Your Son Wynette. Now, if I've ever heard anyone in an interrogation sound like Sarah, it's Tammy. Tammy is there on behalf of her son. If you've seen the Law and Crime Investigates thumbnail on your page in the last week and a half, there's a story about prank kills mom of 4. It's 2 teenagers. They're 16 when it happened. Jordan and Jaden. Both are infuriating, but it's about a 36-minute long video. I'll link it in my description. It's not linked there now, so you have to stay and watch me for this part. But I'll link it into the description. She really wants to take control of the interview. She wants to let you know what's what, how many, and where she's going. This is the lovely woman that was killed because Tammy's son and his friend decided to push a 6 foot long, 2 foot thick log that weighed 77 pounds over the edge of a cliff at Old Man's Cave in Ohio. It shattered her head. The sound was so loud that people thought it was gunshots. It was just the sound of her cranium impacting. So, and then I don't want to give away, but the mom says something I think actually beats Sarah on a single. Sarah definitely got the long-term service award for crazy interrogation person. But Tammy, I think, takes the cake for single statement. That was just... So anyway, that'll be linked after this. Also, YouTube is starting to show these very quickly after I finish a stream. You don't have to wait 8 hours now. This might be up and ready with a live replay of chat available within a couple of hours. So you've got that to look forward to. Before we move on, I want to take a second to just have a moment of reflection for Catherine O'Hara. We talked about her last week. We talked about some of her projects. She was 71 years old. Moira on Schitt's Creek. She was in some great improv movies, Best in Show, Mighty Wind. A lot of people will know her from SCTV. Lots of stuff with Eugene Levy, mom from Home Alone. Anyway, died after a short illness. So that's the news coming into this broadcast. I'll take a quick second for people to gather that while I look through the chat, say hello to some people. Yeah, it's a bit of a downer to move, but we'll have fun in a moment. Welcome, LZB. I'm going to switch it to all messages because I want to see everyone's messages. Detective Wobbuffet is here in the chat with blonde, long hair. Go to Suma's page to see that beautiful transition. Some of this was pre-chat because I make a note of the guessing game to start. If anyone is wondering what the counting was, I was counting by 10, 10, 7, 7s to start the stream. Hopefully my audio is working. Nobody's complaining. That seems to be okay. Claire Winston Wade is so impressed she's flabbergasted. Not Shakira flabbergasted. She's Claire Winston Wade flabbergasted. Detective Wobbuffet asks, I don't know how much an electronic unicycle will cost. I made it up. That's electric unicycle seems dangerous. They're dangerous on their own, but last thing I'd need is one that's powering itself. I guess the cycling is tough too. I don't want to own a unicycle. 4748 France was a good guess. Oh, Lakeisha knew it. She's got the 10-10-7-7. Well done, Lakeisha. Well done. Well done. That's ding, 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 ding. All right. Seriously is late. Had to finish up with the Hot Farmer and Beaver adventures. You've got to tell us more about that, seriously. Pretend Sun is back in the cage. Okay. Jenny Bailey saw the video. So probably the video about Tammy Stand By Your Son Wynette there. Okay, good. So we're caught up. I'm going to switch this over because the way we're going to do this is we're just going to listen to the audio I did. It's, well, let me give a little backstory before we start too. Make sure that the audio is working. Full disclosure. That seems to be working. So when I was reading Reddit, and I'd like to process the Sarah jail calls through Reddit because, first off, it's entertaining to get the take on it, and the comments usually give a lot of insight where I don't need to listen to the original call to get a good sense of it. In this case, it was literally that I hadn't heard the original call. I'd only read the Reddit. So I think that helped me not trying to mimic Sarah's sounds in the release call. Everything was really out of my sense of Sarah in my own head. So yeah, I approached it as though everything that was written was true. But then when I replayed it at the end, there was a few parts where I'm like, I'm not leaving my regular voice saying some of this stuff. If I want to run for politics in 20 years, the last thing I need is someone clipping out some of the worst stuff from this, and we'll discuss what those parts are, because you'll notice they're not said in my voice. So let's just get her started, and then at the end of this we'll go through the comments. There's some great comments, there's some spicy comments, there's even some speculative comments that should be fodder for discussion. So see what you all think of that, and yeah, take it from there. This is not my original work. Audio good? Full credit to Redditor, But I Don't Think of You, for writing the content that I will be presenting in a dramatic read format. I don't personally have a Reddit account, but in reading the public post, But I Don't Think of You gives her prioristic blessing to SKR or Tanika's 2 cents if they were to read her satirical summary. I hope this reading does But I Don't Think of You proud. I will be happy to share collab credit if But I Don't Think of You is on YouTube. A little background before I begin. The subreddit, Sarah Boone Continued, is a very active and knowledgeable Sarah Boone community on Reddit. For some time now, But I Don't Think of You has been preparing satirical summaries of the boondoggle content to make the content more palatable. I've been enjoying these summaries every time a new one is posted, but the summary of Call 11 stood out as inspired work. I was going to do this with the AI voice changer, but the closer I got to matching Sarah's voice, the more I wanted to stick crochet hooks into my ears while listening to my read. Instead of matching her shrill, annoying bleats, this read will be in my normal voice. A piece of me thinks Sarah would be annoyed to hear a James Earl Jones rendition of her voice. So here we go. But I Don't Think of You's satirical summary of Jail Call 11. It starts with a little scene setting, so before the actual Sarah part starts, it's a very descriptive background, and yeah, let's let. But I Don't Think of You set the scene. Hoping for a futuristic blessing of this dandy read. Jail Call 11. Mirror morons and other improperly used terms. Hi, Ann McCallum. Fade in. We open on a prison payphone, and a golem-like creature in profile crouched before it. It wears the standard prison uniform, and its only distinguishing features are the hairstyle, a mop only seen on prepubescent boys in the 1980s, and the striking resemblance to Jabba the Hutt. The monstrous beast sits picking its nose and eating its treasures. I'm not going to do that. Its pale blue eyes are as empty as a corpse, with brief flashes of anger so terrifying they earn the NC-17 rating and epilepsy warning. Additionally, if you are or ever hope to become pregnant, please be advised that looking at this creature directly in the eye can lead to acute uterine expulsion syndrome. Additionally, those with a penis should proceed with caution, as there have been reports of sudden penectomies, where the victim rips off their own penis and throws it into a garbage disposal or wood chipper to ensure that reattachment is impossible. Viewer rejection is advised. And here we go. Cut to Saba the Cunt. Hello? Are you available? I've called you 94 times in the past 7 minutes. I've squandered your unearned gifts of tablet credits. And if I'm unable to feed off the kindness of my post-prison pals daily, I'll have no choice but to eat the world. Are you okay? Is your friend okay? I've remembered something you said that didn't involve me and my money, which means you owe me financially. Oh, your friend is in the hospital and probably won't make it? Well, at least you know they're being taken care of while they die. I need stamps. Now. My other griftee has an impounded car and some sort of small being she feeds, so she's tapped out. Or just being a selfish bitch and hoarding my money so she can live. The nerve, eh? Now, if you notice, there is lots of cuts in the voice. I did have one commenter bring this up, and 100%. Like, I'm recording these over 8 to 10 hour period, recording them in 15 to 45 second chunks, and the ambient audio can be different every time I record a section, even just how close and far I'm keeping the camera from where I'm talking. So I'll get more professional as I go, but a lot of those inconsistencies really raise the should raise your suspicion about the raw recordings and why they have those same kind of inconsistencies. Because if they're showing up when an amateur like me is cutting them, why are they showing up when a professional documentarian is doing it? That's that's all I have to say about that. Did my useless transcribed ratings get delivered to the court? Hi, Colleen. Or did you fuck it up as Monique, per usual? Huasinga. I made copies of the lunatic letters for that black lady with the robe. $49.65. Pricey.
and mailing was $17.85.
Nothing's cheap.
Now there's a lien on my asshole account.
Hey, pretend son got out of the cage.
You told me to tell you how much it was. I'm just following orders. Open that fat wallet and clear my debt. I'll give you virtual blowjobs for a year's payment. I know that you're tight financially.
In retrospect, I'm surprised I left in the virtual blowjobs in my own voice, but I guess that's just racy and not so much objectionable.
That sounds like a personal problem. I'm negative in my account, and Brian still hasn't signed away my son's right to avoid seeing me face to face. Son started high school yesterday and thinks I'm to blame for not being there to hold his hand and drunk drive him to and from school. He's a little bitch, and now his big bitch father wants to limit me to actively fucking up his life for only 30 minutes a week? It'll be nearly impossible. I need unlimited access at Brian's expense. At least until son gets a fucking job. Direct deposit into the Honey Button Fund is the least he can do, since I pushed him out of my demon puss.
Take a quick pause there. If anyone was a little shocked by my picture of the demon puss with teeth here, I just took an emoji, like the oh my god emoji, and then zoomed in on it super close because I thought a demon puss would have teeth, and that's what that's what that became.
Oh, and I'm surrounded by big black bitches.
They're huge.
B-L-A-C-K, Peter. Black. I'm 5'3", 71-pound, undiscovered supermodel of the superior race. They all act like I'm Hispanic. They make me wake up at the ass crack of dawn and clean the dorm toilets. It takes me 12 minutes and fulfills my requirement of having a job in prison. It's humiliating. And
welcome, Finding Dimes. We're just discussing the Jail Call 11. Bit of a relaxing live. I don't have a lot of new material. We're just gonna revisit some older stuff and hang out and chat and enjoy each other's company here.
Incredibly dangerous.
Everyone knows that black people have diseases in their asses. It's a crime that segregation never went away.
The fire ants continue to feed off my dandruff and general crust, and no, I can't say anything to the melanin monsters in my dorm. It's so easy for you to say, in your air-conditioned barn, with your barn with air conditioning, and I'm in a barely air-conditioned lockbox with chocolate creeps, not by choice or through any fault of my own.
Not my fault.
At least I'm a very humble person. That's really why they all have a lock and sock with my name on it.
Every time I hear humble, reminds me, of course, my own stuff, but check out my short, Be Humble, to Kendrick Lamar's song of the same name. Basically, it's just a loop of them making Sarah sit down, be humble. She only sits the twice during the interrogation, but that's the beauty of editing. You can make her sit down on command, on cue. There's even the one time where Scott makes her sit down just with a single finger, which is very nice.
And I'm a very positive person. Positive I don't deserve any of this shit.
Fuck that.
My prison punch cup is never half empty. It's as dry as the Sahara Desert. I know that you have a real life in the real world with your air conditioning and your people who didn't murder their boyfriends. But I really need you too for moral support. And by which I mean tapping into your retirement funds or selling your wife or something so that you can feed my transfer addiction to sugar and shitty letter writing. My useless asshole brother keeps sending me only $15 and $20.
What a
And
jerk.
is about to have surgery for some shit I can't remember. I need you to reassure me. And find old ladies to swindle out of money or something. I am part of your budget now, you broke ass bitch. Meanwhile, I just keep busting my ass while I'm temporarily an inmate. And I don't want...
That's a little speeded up. It's because I actually missed the whole line and then had to move all the audio over and then speed up the one line that I didn't read for whatever reason. Well, it's because I kept screwing up the line afterwards. And when then I finally got it right, I forgot to say the original line. So that's why that speed anomaly is there.
to think that you are my only victim. I've literally reached out to people I knew in elementary school also. I am scraping the bottom of the barrel so fiercely that the shame a normal human would feel would drive them to self-harm.
What? Even in my darkest hour, I want you to know, and God knows, that you've got me. You know, my feminine wiles and tiny blowjob lips have put you eternally under my spell. The musk that emanates from my clan, chlamydia, will keep you my slave forever.
And I will read that one just for you guys, just on the live. We'll do that one in my real voice, so that's a little bonus content for you. My feminine wiles and my tiny blowjob lips have put you eternally under my spell. The musk that emanates from my chlamydia will keep you my slave forever.
Want to hear more proof of my general shittiness? When I went to make copies of the quotes he gave me for my heirloom, the nearly vintage Kia, and other nonsense that hasn't a chance in hell of being addressed by Judge Jackson of the Hair Braiders, I tried to Houdini the bill away from the eyes of my kidnappers, aka the state of Florida, Taliban branch. The walnut in my throat I felt from knowing that your money was being used for, quote, legal work rather than a do-it-yourself Brazilian butt lift, you have no idea. This is my sad voice dick stick. My only trick left to squeeze blood from your turnip asshole ass.
So that's another thing that was kind of fun about reading this. It's one thing for me to do fake Sarah calls and put my own, insults and words in her mouth. I've never used the phrase turnip asshole ass. I had to look up turnips just to see what a turnip asshole ass might look like. Credit to But I Don't Think of You. It was fun to use some new curses, but that one was totally new to me, and it took me a few reads to say it with the proper vindictiveness rather than the note of smile that you see on my face now. Let's try it again. This is my sad voice dick stick. My only trick to squeeze blood from your turnip asshole ass. I guess it's because it's tight, it's puckered, so you can't get the blood from the ass.
You're asking me which of Lowell's accommodations I'd prefer? That question is dumb as shit. But I'll take the air-conditioned annex over the main campus.
So she has an
Fire ants
answer.
and all. Even with the big black women that I see at every turn, they hate me. They hate me because they're of the devil. And they know that they're going to die in this prison while I continue my fight for freedom.
Black people just don't understand the struggle to be free.
Sometimes
Yeah. They hate me because they ain't me.
you should look up mirror neurons.
Well, that's a good idea. Mirror neurons. Let's look that up. Mirror neurons. Mirror neurons. Mirror on the sky. What's a neuron meant to say? It's a brain cell that reacts both when a particular action is performed or when it is only observed. So what does that mean? Easy way to describe it is if you think of there's an experiment where they get the person to put their hand flat on the table, and then there's like a rubber hand that's beside their hand. and they will fake hitting the real hand, but it's the rubber hand, and track the way that the body responds to it. And your brain kind of freaks out a little bit watching the rubber hand get hit if it's in the position you expect your hand to be. So despite the fact you're not hit with a hammer, the mirror neurons are firing and telling you, just got hit with a hammer. That's mirror neurons. Now let's listen to Sarah explain mirror neurons.
That's the problem with these women. They see me white and gorgeous, forever youthful, full of promise and the opportunities of a beautiful life laid at my tiny hooves. And they're jealous as hell because they could never be me. Well, maybe don't Google that.
No.
It's not at all what the science says, but science is stupid, and I'm white. Capital W, capital H, capital I, capital T, capital E, white and always right. Listen, I am telling you this as my best friend, my brother,
My best
my
friend.
future husband, once your bitch of a wife dies in an unfortunate accident involving a suitcase. I'm sad. That's a human emotion, right? I've seen people acting sad and people give them money. Is there a reason why you're not on your way to donate plasma?
From that line there, and we'll just go back 10 seconds, but sounds like Sarah's been to a strip bar.
I'm sad. That's a human emotion, right? I've seen people acting sad and people give them money.
A lot of strip bars I've been to, the strippers, there's notice sadness, and it's definitely people giving them money.
Is there a reason why you're not on your way to donate plasma or sell a kidney on the market of blacks? Can I get another job in prison? Are you serious right now? No, you donkey rapist. I mean, technically, yeah.
Now, I suggested there was duck fucking going on. I didn't even get into the donkeys, but I don't think About You took it to a whole new realm. But I'm just reading her content. That's not my suggestion.
Yes, but the other jobs I could get, I absolutely refuse to do. And no, I can't work in the goddamn kitchen either. I'm level 4, suckers. They have knives in there. And people think I'm dangerous. Sharpest thing I'm allowed to have is a toilet brush. God, you're a moron. And
Hey,
actually,
LZB.
I'm grateful to God for the job I have now
Such a good job.
of toilet wench. Because from sunup to sundown, I have the time to work on my family law case. It's a blessing from Jesus, and I take that graciously provided opportunity to sit on my lazy ass and beg for money from every person unfortunate enough to have ever crossed my path.
Including elementary school.
I work myself to death and curse the God I use for sport. I am more deserving of praise than he is anyway.
He, capital H on that.
Want to hear my wisdom for the day?
No.
People are in prison for a reason.
Oh,
Sometimes they
let's just let that one marinate, because that one was 100% from the call that I learned later wasn't an exaggeration at all. Sarah Boone said, and I quote, "People are in prison for a reason." The closest thing to getting it I've seen from Sarah. She doesn't get it, but that statement, so close, Sarah, so close. People are in prison for a reason. Hey, Tanika, welcome to the chat. I'm just mailing it in today. We're revisiting material I've already done while I sit back and smile at my creations, and we all enjoy each other's company in the chat. So we've got a few more minutes of this before we get into the comment reads.
have black souls and empty hearts, and their families don't want to deal with them anymore.
California Dreamer, good to see
This
you
applies
again.
to all black people and every other person that doesn't have a lifetime membership
Jesus.
to the KKK, like me.
Any wondering why I wouldn't say that one in my voice?
And their families don't want to deal with them anymore.
This applies to all black people and every other person that doesn't have a lifetime membership to the KKK like me.
Fuck.
Turning now to my bitch list of the day, here's the remainder. Officers hate me. Inmates hate me. My son hates me. And God hates me too. I can see your patience waning, and my clumsy attempts at subtlety have failed. So I'll end the call with this. Please send me money. Please send me money. Please do your fucking job and give me all your money. And I said the word please.
She did say please.
Which holds as little meaning to me as any of the Mexican shit that George used to say. But I know you'll understand and do your godly, husbandly duty like you always do. I'm hugging you through the phone,
Suma made
which
it.
should be taken as exactly the threat that it is.
And it shows me
And
that
don't
I'm
call
not
me back
on
later, please. And again after that, especially if I don't get my goddamn money. I will haunt you like a bill collector on commission, and will do until the day you die, or I finish plucking the meat from your very bones.
Sarah,
Whichever comes last.
Sarah telling the truth for a change. And I can't do a great Sarah impression, but when she says bones, that's one I'm pretty good at. Be picking the bones, just like I can still see the wound from when the knife went into my calf and sticks through the bone on the front.
I love you. Ta-ta for now. Fade out.
All right.
Okay. So
I don't think we need to listen to the outtakes. We'll just go straight into the comment reads and a quick second to read through your guys' comments too. If you haven't set it to all messages, make sure you do. You'll likely miss out on Summa Cum Loudmouth, but there's all kinds of other great people that could be filtered out by the Yahoo YouTube algorithm. So yeah, switch it to top messages or live messages, live chat, whatever gets you more, take it. Where am I looking? I'm looking for the live so that I can see your comments. Nope, that's no good because it's me talking. Okay, great. I'm in the live. I'm in the chat. This is gripping viewing though. So I'll just say a little hello as a place marker. You guys all enjoyed that? You like my backdrop? I can switch it back to a green screen now that we're done the call. Let's see if I have something entertaining. We'll do Pete's Dragon for a little while there. Let's see, Colleen joined the chat. I remember that. Oh, Dabs for Dummies, right. Good to see you again. Pretend Son is hungry and thirsty. Some rough stuff going on in that Pretend Son drama. You could do a whole Detective Wobbuffet. I think you could create a dramatic channel based off of the comings and goings of Pretend Son. Although you might get Department of, what is it, Child Services? Yeah, you don't want them down your back. All right. So we're through with the bones. We're caught up with the chat. I'm seeing Suma in the chat. That's great. And Suma's reminding as well, although it's tough when Suma reminds and nobody gets to see it if they're not on live chat. But so make sure you're on all. We don't have so many people. We need to filter anyone out at this point. LZ, this is Forever Wander. Suma. Okay, Tanika. Yep, we're caught up. We're gonna leave the chat and get back to the comments. I'll take a quick second here too to thank everyone for all of the positive support on this. This has been my most watched video in the last, well, since I did the Lana texts. I did the live reading of the text that got posted to Reddit, and yeah, this one has been the most popular since then. And it's probably going to take me into the first step of monetization. Yay. I don't think I'm going to activate super chats, but the fact that I've earned the right to is kind of cool. My plan is to wait until I qualify for AdSense and then just see what free money comes in first, and then recalibrate how I go from there. So don't worry, I'm won't be asking you to send me money anytime soon. We'll stop that. We'll go to comments. First comment I'm going to read is the pinned one, because that comes from the actual author who on Reddit, a username, but I don't think about you, with an extra U at the end. I basically figured I'd beg for forgiveness later and just do it. I've really felt like the writing was in a voice I could do, except for the ones I couldn't do in my voice. But yeah, I just went ahead and did it. As you heard in the video, I asked for blessing, and if it wasn't given, I'd be happy. Well, wouldn't be happy to take it down. I'd be disappointed to take it down, but I would have done it. Would have been happier to share collab credit, but in this case, Lomo Hoyo says, as the original poster on Reddit, I am thrilled to be memorialized on your channel. Love it. So that's great. I say it's awesome. Happy to feature it. Granny Smith chimes in and says, love you over on the Reddit. I really look forward to your wit, and it's far more believable than the pompous mentis Scara's stripe. Long childhood. Angel Baby says, this is great. I'm not on Reddit very much, so this is awesome. That's another reason why I read these. I know there's a significant part of the audience that isn't big on reading blocks of text off of a computer screen, so to be able to bring some of this to you and illustrate it and bring it to life, that's fun too. So I'll keep doing it if you keep enjoying them. And a bravo from user Hugh. So that's the pinned comment. Now we'll go down to the earliest comments. And it's very supportive. So, spoiler alert, almost everything is super nice, and it's going to make me blush a little bit. There's one that's kind of fun. So, when we get to that, we'll spend a little bit more time too. See, seriously, still in here. LCP. Well, you know what? I'm going to take this down a notch so I can read my chat. We'll soften the lighting a little bit here. You guys can still see me, right? But now I can see the chat without having to do the squint like that. Okay, Edie Beatty's here. Sweet. A little, if you want to like the stream, I don't like to ask for likes, but I love dry begging for them. Tap the screen, see what happens. If you do it twice real fast, sometimes that gives a free like. Sometimes it gives bonus likes. I don't know how it works, but just tap your screen. If that works for you, it works for me. LZB, quick comment was thanks, Dan D. Thank you. Since Sliced Bread says, hola. I said, hola, ¿cómo estás? Muy bien. Muy bien. Gracias. Said that perfectly. We'll move on. The power of editing. Seriously says, thanks. Now I got to go hide the crochet hooks from myself. Yeah. And if anyone noticed watching that video, I took the cover from Butthole Surfer's Electric Larryland. Probably a ton of Butthole Surfers fans in the chat, but that cover famously has a pencil jabbed into the man's ear, and I used AI to sub that for a crochet hook to match my description. So it's a little behind the scenes. J-Max here, driving and listening. All right, J-Mac, I see you. Don't do any more texting while driving. We're well aware of your presence and glad to have you. Hope J-Max got a smile while driving after hearing J-Mac mentioned in the chat. Barbara King says, love her crying and begging. I don't trust them. Anyone with Sarah is as dangerous as she is. And Politically Incorrect gets my first notification because I didn't know they responded, but says they are. They have no problems contacting B and Son and harassing them. Throw a little heart on that and moving on. Barbara King asks, please judge Miss Jackson, where are you? Judy girl was trying to think of who I remind her of with my good looks. Kevin Costner? One of the president's men? All the president's men? Your bodyguard? Maybe. Although if you saw me in my previous live chats, I think I really hit the water world, Kevin Costner. Possibly. Thank you, though. I appreciate it. So Barbara King was asking about Judge Jackson, and Gwen Pigeon says, I'm an atheist, but I've started praying for Judge Jackson often. Early and often. Christus says, oh, she's given Sarah enough time and rope to do what she always does with her impatient Whitney ass. Ruin anything positive that the judge may have given her. And that's a great point. Who knows if the judge was, yeah, fuck it. Well, I'll give a visit a month, fine. And then gets this letter, bitchy, snappy, and, if you guys only did this, Brian wouldn't be able to do blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that's a good point, Christus. Because she's basically, she's not helping herself, and it's very possible she's actively hurt herself. Hope there's another letter. Judy Girl says, I'd let you be my bodyguard, but I already carry and have a German Shepherd. Yeah, and I'm not a great bodyguard because I'm Canadian, and so, I have emergency maple syrup. Pretty good at hand-to-hand combat. Like, I was a fan of George St. Pierre, so I like to think that I'm as good a fighter as him just from watching him. I have minimal experience hand-to-hand combat, but yeah, a little background there. A N Honning says, thanks, Dan D, and original poster, to which I give a big thanks for sharing the credit. That's my biggest worry. I've done 2 poems for Charles Griev on Suma's site, and often the chat is full of, that was great, Dan D, thanks, Dan D, thanks, Dan D. I love it. But poor Charles, he wrote the poem. So I always try and give credit. Well, I do give credit, but I also love it when people share that credit in thanking me, because, if I'm not doing it alone, everyone should be appreciated that contributed. So, yes, Forever Wander, I'm a part of NICE. If you guys want to see that too, maybe I'll put that. Yeah, because if we talk about it now, I can put a timestamp to it and says Dan talks about NICE. There's a Canadian comedy show that did a skit on if Canada had ICE. I guess they would be our National Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Nice. And then it had video of him just greeting immigrants, giving them street directions, recommending restaurants, basically being nice. So, Canada's ICE. All right, Detective Wilbefit says an awe for Charles. Tanika says, Suma, happy Friday, yay. Yay, indeed. Woo. It's Friday. If anyone's having a fun weekend plan, anyone's got a fun weekend planned or plans that they'd like to bring up in the chat, by all means, bring those up as well. Leave it to Sarah. Oh, this is great, from Since Sliced Bread. This was my pinned comment until I wanted to pin the creator's comment to give as much credit as I could. But for a long time, this was the pinned comment. Since Sliced Bread says, leave it to Sarah to reach out to people she hasn't seen for 40 years to beg for money. I thought she never asked for anything. Karma never forgets an address. And so I do what I figure the conversation sounds like. So Sarah Boone. Hey, Cindy, it's Sarah. Remember? We were best friends in 2nd grade. Well, we were friends. I was at your birthday party. Cindy BFF responds, Sarah, that was like 40 years ago. My mom invited everyone from our class. Sarah responds, so the second F in BFF meant nothing to you? Cindy, not best friend forever, responds, we haven't talked in 40 years. And since Sliced Bread says, Sarah must have had this conversation several times. And thank you for my pin. Sorry I took away your pin, Sliced Bread, but you did get a lot of attention with that pin. I noticed you're probably the second most liked comment. And you're only behind, well, we'll get to it very quickly here. Margie says, hey, Dandy. I give a hello to Margie. Hopes I'm staying warm and safe. I'm actually one of the warmest of the Canadians, well, North Americans. So I pass those hopes for warmth and safety to everyone that is in an unsafe or not pleasantly warm zone. And Janaski says, love your voices. And that's a good point. She says voices, not voice. And there's a lot of voices I used in the call. Sometimes it was just not even really remembering which version I did. Could have done a more demonic version. One of my outtakes has the slowed down demonic version. I might start using that for a Sarah voice in the future. You listen to me and give me that money. Slow that down a little. All right, moving back. So to the most liked comment. No, we're gonna give a tiny break to that. What have I done wrong? Okay, we're fine. Seriously says, sharp as a toilet brush. Now that's part of my daily lexicon. I love lexicon too. Great word. So much better than quiver. That's what I was going to prepare tonight. I'll do it for my next live, but I'm going to do a list of words that I'm going to ask for the Flesh Kincaid reading level of quiver, and then do like 80 words that are at the same level as quiver, and then just start the podcast with a cold open reading words that are essentially as clever as quiver. Hey, Sucky Beth is here. The high to the double D, that's me. Welcome, Sucky Beth. I'm glad to have you here. Suma says it's enough to lose one's compos mentis. Yes. You don't want to be non-compos mentis. I think non-compos mentis, that might be the root for nincompoop. Non-compos mentis. I wonder if nincompoop is derived from non-compos mentis. Someone else can look that up. If you have multiple chats, if you're at a desktop computer with extra tabs and all of that, check that out. If I'm right, I would love to hear it. If I'm wrong, save it, put it in the comments afterwards. You can. But if I'm right, let everyone know as soon as possible. Nincompoop, non-compos mentis. Probably right. Probably right. ANHONIG says, I wonder how much money was diverted from the animal sanctuary donations straight to Sarah and her honey buns. I do wish P&J would be more transparent. Lumiere says they're part of the grift. And, without being transparent, what else are people going to assume, right? So we all assume. Yes, we all are assuming. That's what we do. Lumiere says, oh my gosh, Dan, I was at lunch and almost choked on my Coke. You have me laughing so hard here. Now, I hope that was the beverage, because otherwise that was an expensive mistake, but it's no longer the 80s, so I think we can safely assume she was just having a little throat coating beverage. We are trying to assume exactly, Suma. Can we get an extreme close-up of those blue eyes? Because Sarah has a son. Okay, we'll do it. But I warn you, if you look directly into these eyes, they will mesmerize. Whoa, I almost lost my chair. And look at the camera. All right, that's enough of that. Was that enough of that? Now to the most liked comment from our favorite YouTuber, yours and mine. All of us are probably subscribed. Tanika 2 Cents says, if someone from grade school sent me a letter from prison asking for money, I'm pretty sure I would throw that letter in the trash and move to a place unknown. Bitch knows my address. We're leaving. Addie is me response to Tanika, as Sarah Rottenley said about Lana's death to what's his name on the phone, you would turn the page. Yep. Mystery says that's crazy work. Darcy's kitten says, hey, how'd she get the addresses? And I respond to Darcy's kitten, oh yeah, this is okay. So a little bit of backstory here. We can maybe discuss this too. How would she get the addresses, right? Like, how is she contacting people from elementary school? Well, here's a little window into Mind to Dan D, and why I think I understand Sarah sometimes better than the documentarians did. So I once ran for city council in the city I grew up in. It was about 4 or 5 years after high school. Part of my losing strategy, don't have enough hands here. Part of my losing strategy was to call all of the phone numbers from my high school yearbook and let everyone who let me know to stay cool that I was running. But instead of contacting all those people from high school, I ended up talking to a number of parents who vaguely remembered me and wouldn't support me. Nonetheless, and this is where it gets back to Sarah, I think Sarah might have a yearbook in her heirlooms and now is calling all the friends who might have moved back to their family home. So she might have son looking through the heirloom book if she picked them up from, or if they're at Brian's, and oh, Cindy, yeah, Cindy and I were best friends. Give me that number. Maybe the parents will give me the number. I think that, anyway, that little moment of my history made me think I understood how she's getting it. And Lisa, Francophile, responds, if she had someone on the outside, they could easily do some Googling to try and find addresses for some people. And then mentions a woman's name that we tend to associate with Australia. And then Chocolate Chip has another Australian-themed comment. I would assume a little flying monkey chlamydia-infested koala has something to do with that. I don't know what any of that means, but I'll read it one more time. I would assume a little flying monkey chlamydia-infested koala has something to do with that. You can just ponder what it means. It's like an enigma. It's a mystery wrapped in a riddle. All right, moving on from Tanika's comment. Lori M says this was great. Note to self, put down the tasty beverage before hitting play to avoid choking and or redirecting beverage from the esophagus. So close. Note to self, put down the tasty beverage before hitting play to avoid choking and or redirecting beverage from esophagus to the sinus cavity. That's one to grow on. And I did say I'll consider adding a beverage warning. This is not the first report I've received regarding this hazard. Where is that? Deb Richardson just loves it, gives me some lovely emojis, and asks for more of my voices. So I might have to do something where I nail down each of the kind of voice inflections, and Sarah is a demon, Sarah is, oh, could I please have, and do my high pitch. There's a few different ones. Also, I think I could do a documentarians as long as I try and channel Bill Lumberg. And hey, Sarah, what's happening? They're really mean to you in jail, eh? That's great. I'm going to need you to stay in there for another 40 years and probably for the rest of your life. Yeah, I could work on that. But yeah, I think it's a Lumberg adaptation anyway. Addie is me, says hello. I return the hello. NYA says, thank you for making me laugh. I appreciate it. Celine says, my demon puss is crazy work. Thank you, Celine. And I hope you appreciated the animation. I tried to be as both disgusting and cute as I could. So using the oh my god emoji with the teeth, I think replicated the demon puss quite well. I didn't even get a chance to heart that. Why didn't I get a notification about a demon puss comment? It's like YouTube just, no, he doesn't want to hear about Demon Puss comments. He just wants to hear people who say, love it. No, I want to hear the Demon Puss comments. Pretend Judge, another comment that didn't get notified. My favorite parts from the series so far are virtual blowjobs, tiny blowjob lips, and sitting in his air conditioned barn with barn and air conditioning. I like that too. I thought that maybe that was a typo, and then was like, no, that's just repetition. That's you in your barn with air conditioning and an air conditioned barn. I'm like, yeah, no, that's so Sarah. That's it's accentuating it. I'm not editing that at all. Modern Meme Shop says, this is a modern day travesty of when ego and pride won't let you accept any responsibility for your actions. She thinks she is a rights fighter, but surely can't read the room. Ever. Ever. Yeah, exactly. And I think it is forever. It's forever. She'll never be able to read the room. It is forever. Pretend Judge says, does anyone else think these stupid letters Sarah is writing is her thinking she was finally telling us everything she allegedly didn't get to tell at trial? That's a bit of an interesting question, because there's some question over how much did she know what was happening with these? Like, did she just give the okay, like, use it in any way you want, and she expected this to be background for the documentary? Because they're not talking about documentary stuff. When she's asking for stuff to go on her commissary, and she's asking for, please switch the bunny for a Tyler the Creator record, that's not documentary material. So what did she think they were using? Did she ever expect that these calls would just be released? Well, I like to say in full. They're not in full, but, as though they're in full. I don't think so. User Hugh brings us back to the serious end of why we follow Boone. How could she do heart compressions and hold the phone? And her phone in one hand and a drink in the other, adds in North Dakota grandma. And Krista says she didn't. She slipped and said, this is making me blank, but sick. And yeah, so we don't think that she did heart compressions. We don't think she was holding the phone doing them. I don't think she had it on speakerphone. Craig for Cranick is here. That barn comment was prompted by misunderstanding of what P meant. He was speaking literally when he asked, what are you going to do? She took it rhetorically. I notice she does that a lot. Yeah, for a person that fancies herself as an expert rhetorician, her understanding of word use and her wonder at vocabulary are it's an interesting dichotomy of of features as well. Roberta Real says, I've heard this rendition a few times. I try to never miss an opportunity to listen to Dan D. By the way, if you're going to pierce your eardrums, knitting needles work better than crochet hooks. Right tool, right job. Thanks, Dan D. I said, right. Crochet hooks are for picking the frontal lobe through your nostril. Roberta Real says, woo, I'm glad we got that straightened out. So yeah, I don't recommend picking your frontal lobe through the nostril. I think it's damage to Sarah's frontal lobe that's made her the person she is. So you don't want to be picking at your amygdala just for fun. But if you're listening to Sarah Boone phone calls and over and over and over editing like me, just picking a little bit off the front makes everything a little bit more tolerable. So we have that. If we're going to pick the frontal lobe, use a crochet hook. If you want to pierce your eardrums, knitting needle. So now we know. There's still more comments here. Juror number 3, yes, says, wow, I think that's what the letter really said. Stuck in the Couch says it's not far off. I couldn't believe the prices of those copies, but that's what she claimed. Yeah, that's ridiculous. It would be funny if she was photocopying black and white pages in color and then paying the dollar per page to, and oh, it cost me $1 per page because she's so stupid that she is photocopying a black and white document in color. It didn't come out color. Why am I being charged for color? Jackie Anderson says, Dan D, I could listen to you read a phone book. I don't ever want a Sarah Boone crossover with ASMR to exist, but if it did, I think you just created it. So to get away from the Sarah Boone ASMR, I do a little for Jackie Anderson. If you want to bear with me here, Amberton, Amsterbin, Amato, Amerton, Ancilio, Anders, Anderson Frederick, Anderson Gordon, Anderson Jackie, Anderson James. That was just me reading a phone book. Blue Giraffe says, how would one even begin a letter to someone she knew in grade school? Dear Tammy, remember in 3rd grade when you always let me borrow your Crayola crayons? Box of 64, no less. That kind of generosity surely extends all through adulthood. Yeah, you got to open with a love bomb of sorts. That gets me going. Quote, I remember you had those cool trolls on your pencil and you could spin them and make their hair go all funny. So anyway, can I get some money and a pencil and the troll's hairstyle? Blue Giraffe says those trolls were fun. Polynomial Purebred says, but I don't think of you does an amazing job with recaps. So very awesome. And we have a little discussion where I learned that you put a little U before the slash to talk about a user on Reddit. You put an R before the slash to talk about the subreddit on Reddit. So now I know. Politically Incorrect says a stock and a lock with my name on it. Genius. Yeah, that's, I think, a variation. Like there's a, I want to say an alternative song, but bullet with my name on it. Bullet with the name rubbed on it. I think that was before the Luigi Mangione thing, which update, he is not getting the death penalty. So good for Karen Friedman Agnifilo, fantastic female lawyer. Managed to get his charges reduced to whatever non-lethal punishment is. However you feel about that, I think it's the right choice as far as proceeding in that case. Politically Incorrect says, my kidnapper's the state of Florida, and forgets Taliban edition, but yeah. Been kidnapped by the state for no reason. And you put an S after your comment to indicate Oh, okay. Man, I'm learning things all the time. Thank you, Forever Wander. /S means sarcasm. Okay. Okay. I think my channel should be just /S then, like Dan D /S. And Succubeth says meant sexy. And yeah, so I should be Dan D /S. Sarcastic and sexy. Yawning Greyhound brings up a great question, and it sounded a little trollish, but, you know, I answered it authentically, and it seemed like it wasn't authentic. So the question is this your voice or AI? The breaks and pattern in grammar seem odd. And I said, an eye for the technical details. You are absolutely correct. This was recorded in 15 to 45 second chunks over the course of 8 to 10 hours. I don't have a studio to speak of. Almost every time I record, the ambient surroundings change. Add to this the edits I made after recording the entire post. Penectomy became penidectomy for some reason. So there are segments sped up to 1.1 speed or slowed to 0.9 speed to help it fit the spot. Plus, I used the AI female voice for the most objectionable passages. Now, all that said, the conclusion of this long answer to a short question is, while I would love for my audio to sound perfect, every audio inconsistency highlights a greater point of the boondoggle videos. Mine sounds off because it is recorded in several takes, re-recorded, edited, etc. The raw audio of the phone calls between Sarah Boone and her documentary team should be consistent. Every little audio shift in my videos is a reminder that they should not exist in a primary source document, such as a recorded phone call. Finally, if you prefer to listen to a one-take read with 0 edits, check out my Live on Tape playlist. There's a dramatic reading there that is a good source for hearing the range of my real voice and various inflections. Thanks for the comment. Appreciate any chance to talk about the process. And Yawning Greyhound says, I see, or hear, lol, thank you. So that's the importance. Just because something seems trollish, you can't get too, some people just are a little sharp, a little crisp. Not going to dress it up all flowery. They're just going to say what they want to know. I'll take them as authentic. There's no reason to get all worked up about it. Jane TH says, bravo, Dan D. That's pretty much how I heard the call the first time. Bravo. Christus says, just wait till her kid gets a job. She'll harass him for money. Yeah. It's, I heard you're making minimum wage now. That's great. That's like 10 times what I get for scrubbing toilets. It's not fair. Could you maybe give me some of your money? And, it's our money because I made you. So technically you're me. Tina Brooks gives a LOL. Barbara Bunker says, what a hoot, thank you. Edie Beatty says, loving it. Thanks. These days I would rather listen than read. Perfect. I'm glad to bring this to you. ND Grandma, I'm thinking North Dakota Grandma, says, Boozy would hang a pork chop around her neck to track... Let me slow this down. Boozy would hang a pork chop around her neck to attract stray dogs. Later, she would don her pink shorts, head to Muldoon's to attract a stray stuff in exchange for a drink and a cigarette. Yeah, I don't know what song that is, but I know the line, give me all you got for a pork chop. I want to say it's Ludacris or Nelly. It feels like Southern rap, but give me what you got for... Oh, maybe Chingy. Could be like Chingy, yeah. Yeah, that's probably in right there. I love it when you do it right there. ADJ Farside says, Dan D, you are made of the most creative magic. Do any other killerers get made fun of this much on the internet? That's a great question. I think Sarah might be the king of killerers that are mocked. Is there, like, Grant Amato is mockable, but he doesn't command the attention. There's a lot of very mockable criminals, but yeah, that the matrix of mockability and popularity. Sarah's it's one of the few things she excels at. And she excels at almost nothing she does. Oh, here we go. Now we're getting into the spicy comment. All right, if you guys are away, come back to the chat. This is where it gets interesting because I don't quite know what to do about this one. So we have a commenter, I'm all for show, and his comment is, this is stupid as hell. Get the fuck out of here with this shit. Now, didn't want to curse, so he did put GTFOH, but did say shit. So I'll read it again just in case it wasn't clear. This is stupid as hell. Get the fuck out of here with this shit. Okay, that's I'm all for show. I was a little surprised. If it was the first comment, I might have thought, oh fuck, maybe I did a bad video. It's kind of weird after getting 200 comments. I read them in the order I received them. So before we get to my reply, just to refresh. This is stupid as hell. GTFOH with this shit. My response. This comment is insightful as hell. Stay the fuck around here for more high fecal count content. That was pretty good. I should have put the /S at the end. Just sarcastic. Ha ha ha. This comment is insightful as hell. Stay the fuck around here for more high fecal count content. So, 10 hours later, the response, and there was a response. Okay, I subscribed. How do I send money to you? Maybe weird considering my recent response. However, I'm down for anyone who takes the time to respond to someone who sees things differently. Liz Mariposa, let me just refresh. I'm glad it's very prescient timing for that question, because this is a crazy comment. I'm going through the comments on my Sarah Boone video where I read But I Don't Think of You's letter. So, But I Don't Think of You did a great satirical summary of the Sarah Boone Jail Call 11. I read it in my own voice, kind of emulating what I felt Sarah's emotion was if she wrote these words to the T. But I Don't Think of You did a great job of changing the words from what she was saying in the call to what. So anyway, that's what we're talking about. I've been reading all the comments, which have been so, like, this is my most popular video comment and likewise, and almost there view-wise. So I've been reading all these positive comments and, kind of puffing myself up a bit just to get to this one. And, now we can, we'll revisit it right. I'll read through the three of them now. The first comment, or the start of the thread is from I'm a full show, which I think is short for, in my opinion, full show. Full show. This is stupid as hell. Get the fuck out of here with this shit. My response, this comment is insightful as hell. Stay the fuck around here for more high fecal count content. Response, okay, I subscribed. How do I send money to you? Maybe weird considering my recent response. However, I'm down for anyone who takes the time to respond to someone who sees things differently. I say cheers to choosing more of my shit. I am not accepting money at this time. Words never spoken, nor written, nor typed by Sarah Boone. To which I'm for show says, touche. So now we can openly speculate over who I'm for show could be. And I have my suspicions, but just like the guy who was asking about whether my voice was AI, he wasn't a troll. It sounded trollish, but he was authentically interested. So, you can't jump to conclusions. It's, when we all assume, we all look dumb, right? We want to investigate this. We want to. So let's think about it. Who would think that this is stupid as hell? And I would think, if somebody was a fan of Sarah Boone content, they wouldn't think this is stupid as hell. Or if they did, they'd probably just, fuck it, scroll right by. They're not going to take the time to let the creator know this is stupid as hell. And further, why would they want them to get the fuck out of here with this shit? It's almost like he doesn't want the material to exist. Wonder who that could be. But then we get another clue, because the response, his response to me saying, stay the fuck around here for more high fecal count content, is how do I send you money? And then goes on to say he's down for anyone who takes the time to respond. And then some other shit. And I think, there was a letter sent to Sarah where Sarah responded with, hey, fuck you guys. You don't understand anything about me. You don't know what it's like to be here. So next time you send me a letter, don't try and say you understand what my life is like, because my life is different than yours and you don't get it. And then he said, oh, can I send you money? So there's that, right? Now, I'm not saying that guy and this guy are the same guy. That'd be ridiculous. Like, who has time to, look up Sarah Boone channels that have 700 subscribers and, especially when they're busy editing phone calls and doing content of their own. It's time to do that kind of shit, right? So, but it makes me wonder. I'm like, what kind of person gets insulted and wants to send money? And he's the only person I know that has been insulted. And then, okay, well, how do I sign up for sending you money? And I can do this monthly. And is there anyone else on the outside that you want money sent to, gifts sent to? You can do that too. So So yeah, so there's that little mystery, little mystery to uncover. Further to that, and I'm not doing comments on all my videos on today's stream, but you watched a live stream of mine from 3 weeks ago. And this is the one where I tried to do a live stream on the side of the road, didn't work out, came home, and I, talked about what a debacle it was, but we had a good time. We chatted, everyone enjoyed each other's company. He commented on that one, and the comment is just, enjoyed it. Period. No sass, no snark, just enjoyed it. I'm like, why would he watch 3-week-old video? And it's really a rambly chat. Like, we're just talking about stuff that makes sense to us. Yeah, anyway. So I asked, rather than being a dick about it, I just said, so, how did you come to be interested in the Sarah Boone saga? New to it or long-term follower? If he is related to the P&J collective of creative chickens chasing ducks documentary, whatever, he's going to have to answer he's been following it for a while. Yeah. So I can't see him trying to make off that he's new to the case and just came across my channel. Came across, that doesn't sound nice at all. It's worse than having blood on your keyboard. He just came across my channel. Yuck. Anyway, on that note, we'll do a palate cleanser. We'll take a break here. I think we've gotten to the end of the comments. Yeah, we're at the top. Oh, the very last comment. Ochari77, summa cum loudmouth sent me here. It was great. Laughing my fucking ass off. Fabulous Fatty, thank you for all your content. No exaggeration. I haven't laughed that hard in a long time. Please keep it up. You're amazing. Well, I do have access to Cialis and Viagra, so keeping it up shouldn't be a problem. It's shameful the amount of times I've listened to this video, says Doodle Detective. Thank you, Doodle. I appreciate every extraneous, multitudinous view. All the views go to the YouTube gods and feed the beast that needs the food. That's the end of the comments. We've speculated. We've had some fun. Let's take a quick break. I'm going to read through some comments, but this is a time for you guys, and I'm going to put a little comment as a place marker for me here. Nope, not on that one. Okay, we'll try it here. Maybe change the background again too, but shout out your favorite channels. They don't have to be Sarah Boone channels. This is going to be a little something I do every video. But if you're watching something that is just funny, that you think other people will like, use 2 or 3 comments to pitch whatever your favorite channel is that you think someone else would like. Then post links if you've got the links available, if they're easy to remember. And then everyone can take off, look for them. I'm looking at 83 minutes. So we won't start Sarah Boone content again until 86 minutes. So you guys have like 3 minutes to kind of shout out people. I'm going to shout out two channels. One is Frankenstein's Lab. It's just, most of the videos are just 2 guys watching comedy and smoking weed and laughing. If you like comedy and don't like watching it alone, you want to have, kind of people giggling with you, watch Frankenstein's Lab. Some of the old Bill Burr stuff they did, that's what got me most into them. And at that point, they were just a couple of guys with a chair and a Xbox controller. They haven't really upgraded their setup too much since then, but they're really authentic and just a great way to enjoy comedy with a couple people that, are almost like having best friends on the couch giggling with you. So there's that. And the other one I would shout out is This Aged Great. And thank you, Suma. I will get, I'll start shouting out the ones you guys have mentioned in the chat too, so keep it up. But This Aged Great, kind of a Gen X thing. If you enjoyed movies from the 80s, I'd say to the late 80s, they probably do a little bit of early 90s stuff, but there's probably more late 70s. Movies like Porky's, Police Academy, I Am Sam, and it's just how these movies have aged over time. There's one guy who does it seems like he's researched this really well because he's got all the info and he's just rapid fire giving out the, backstory to the movie. While the second guy is just laughing his ass off in the background, contributes almost nothing except that's his part. They make every video exactly 10 minutes long. So they're, fun, bite-sized. You can start by, watching the reviews of stuff. Ski School was a good one. But yeah, really good for looking back at comedy that hasn't aged well over time. But if you've aged well over that time, you probably still enjoy those comedies, and it's a good time. So now I'm going to log back into the live, see your guys' comments, and see who we're shouting out. We're at 86 minutes. We'll give a little bit more time to shout out other channels. Blue River, who may be in the chat now, has a channel. I see it's Donna Adelson content. I was checking it out. Blue River got shouted out during Suma's chat last night. So check it out. New channel, new content. One of our chatters that deserves a little support. So check that out. I see there are some with Hill. Okay. Where are we at? Gonna go back to Suma's comment, which is a little before. I once got a comment, quote, "This came up on my feed. You've got a really creepy vibe. Subscribed." Thank you. Yeah, what are you going to do? Your fan's a fan, hey, Suma? All right. Liz Mariposa asks Suma, think of the time that Sarah was drunk as fuck and had the cops over. She didn't think of her son's welfare. No, she had him talking to the cop. Tell him what you want him to be. Yeah, that's this... There's something weird about parents who coach their kids to be cute in front of a cop when they're breaking the law. It's bad parenting. It's not outstanding parenting, that's for sure. Maybe I'm going to change the green screen to see if I have something. I don't know if I'm going to stay there. I might. Well, that's pretty good too. Okay. I think we're getting to the channel. Liz Mariposa says all of the small channels doing unique Sarah Boone content are my favorites. I appreciate that, Liz Mariposa. If people weren't willing to try out new stuff, my channel would have never grown the way it has. So when you see something out there that's got no views, doesn't mean not good. It just means they're new. YouTube doesn't push out new people's stuff that much. So if you get a chance to take a peek, get in there, help out the new creator, even if it's not something you are going to subscribe to. Even giving it the time of a watch will let YouTube push it out a little bit more for other people. If you're giving it 30 seconds, a minute, I encourage that. Succubus says the best one is Suma. Suma, Tanika, SKR, Daniel Chavon, Detective Wobbuffet brings up. Succubus says, I can't turn off any channel mocking Mackenzie Shirilla. I would recommend AG Tactical for Mackenzie Shirilla. Jumpsuit Pablo did good stuff too, but I love the way that AG Tactical reacts to Shirilla-isms. And even he's put in the work. He learned the little language that they use, the modified Pig Latin. So he's able to transcribe that for his viewers. Tanika brings up Blue River. Thank you. This is Forever Wander has a little bit of an ad, so I'll read this out. The Pink Popcast is a really cute channel. Pink Popcast. Two college-age guys who watch media traditionally seen as for women and react with lots of heart and charm. It's fun and funny and cozy. That's a great little synopsis there. Thank you. This is Forever Wander. I need to be on all messages again. Every time you log out, it'll put you back to top. Which means I've missed out on some people. Vel73 says, wow, everyone's here. So glad I made it. Hi. Hello, Vel73. Yep, we're all enjoying each other's company. We're into bonus time. This is the C block now, so there's nothing huge on the agenda. I've got fantasy baseball on here, so that's shows. Once I start talking about fantasy baseball, you know I've run out of things to talk about. That'll be near the end. Deb Richardson says, hello to our handsome dandy, looking very dandy. Thank you. Will we be automatically redirected to the next stream? Is Amy Salinger, what is the next stream? Are you talking about my next stream? If I do another stream tonight, good for asking, it'll probably be on my other channel, Dan D Public Reads, and I have chapter 5 of Robinson Crusoe to read tonight. Chapters 1 through 4 are on that channel, Dan D Public Reads. Just me reading. I'm realizing I can't just read without chatting a little bit, so sometimes when I need to take a sip, we'll do a little chapter recap where we are so far. But past episodes are available if you want to come up to speed. I'm probably just going to read it before bed to myself tonight, and anyone who joins me is welcome to be there. Tanika's 2 cents loves the helmet on the duck. Yeah, I gave it a bit of more of a pompadour, but yeah, it's tough with duck styling. You only have so much you can do with it. I wasn't able to, get it's more of like a duck tail with a comb back. Sarah Duck and Boone. That said, there will be no automatic redirect. No. If anything, if there's another stream that's happening after this, maybe chat can share it. Like if one of the other Boone creators is streaming, and I'm happy to send everyone en masse, all 32 of you over there when this is ending. Suma loves AG Tactical. Loves that language, not to brag. Yes. Oh, the fake language, the pig. Yeah. And Suma was very complimented by the weirdo comment, which, no, I'm the same. I'm all attention's good attention, right? Succubus says, you seriously know that bullshit language? So I think asking Suma, because once AG Tactical explained it, it wasn't that difficult, but at the same time, my head's like a glass of water that's pretty full, and adding that kind of info would squeeze something else out my ears, so I'd rather not know how to speak in Pig Latin. Barbara King is here. Welcome to the chat, Barbara. We're just here for fun time now and enjoying each other's company, but you're certainly welcome to enjoy the replay for everything you missed. And yeah, that's duck. I think it's a Menendez sweater on the duck, but it's her forgiveness gold. You're right. Yeah. Could have put her in purple for DV. And Dapper Dan wearing my Frank Castle Punisher shirt. Is Jub Jub Rabbit? All right, I think we've done. Oh, no, there's Hannah Banana has a channel. Suma, if you want to give me a quick description of it, I'll do a shout out for Hannah Banana's channel. Just a Lazy Gamer, love his channel. Sometimes he gets beaten down by the Boone coverage. You really see like there's a sadness and depression in him, but yeah. And I know he had his taps are frozen too, so I feel for, out of anyone that I watch stream, I feel most empathetic watching Just a Lazy Gamer. I feel like he needs a hug. Oh, Just a Lazy Gamer and Lady Macbeth. Yes, Lady Macbeth was actually premiering an hour before this started. I pushed mine back an hour to give that stream little room to breathe. Anyone who wanted to start there and mosey over here. I don't use mosey much in my regular conversation here in Canada, but anyone who wanted to mosey over here from Macbeth's stream, I gave a little room for it to breathe. But she's got a Jennifer Soto stream going right now, and probably is going to be great for replay view because she puts in so much detail. A duck needs pink shorts. How do you put shorts on a duck though? Like the waist is. Do you put shorts on the back end, or do you put it on the bottom half, and then you'd need like the overalls? Although I guess this duck does have overall. What is that string? I didn't ask for a string. AI is pretty good, got its own ideas too. Explore with us. That's a really good one too. Yes, Succubeth. Good call. Liz Mariposa likes Lady Macbeth. Gamer is adorable, says Claire Winston. Deb Richardson says, great job, Dan D. Okay, everyone's happy and having a good time. Hannah Banana is mostly shorts for now. She's going through the process of weaning off Suboxone. Oh, okay, so Suboxone is a help get you off of other things that you could be addicted to. So that could be really interesting, and actually interesting to some of the people that I work with in my job. So I will make a separate note of that. Donald Duck does have trousers, yeah, but he's more animated. This is a real ducking duck. But you're right. Or hold on, Donald Duck does not have trousers. He's walking around pantsless with a shirt on. Yeah, no, you gotta watch your kids around. Yeah, no pants. Where'd my pants go? I can't do the voice anymore. I can do the. Where's my pants? All right, we're caught up on that. So we've done our shout outs. We went significantly longer, but that's great. I think that's something I want to do every live stream. I think the bigger we make the community, the more people who like my stuff go out into other areas and then say, hey, did you know that Dan D shouted out your channel? That could bring people from there here. But I feel it's almost like Miracle on 34th Street. Is Sugar Bear doing it? That's awesome. But yeah, Miracle on 34th Street. Santa sends customers to Gimbals across the street because they don't have that product there. And at first they want to fire Santa because, why would you send them to our competitors? But then the next thing you know, that's a newspaper story where, Macy's Santa sends to the competition, and everyone thinks about the spirit of Christmas, and now Macy's is doing 10 times better. So I've always been of the opinion that you gain more by opening yourself up, and obviously you're going to get people that get exposed to you that aren't interested, but better for them to have a peek and find out than it is to try and stay in your own narrow niche that's so narrow, you never hear negative feedback, and you kind of just stay in your own bubble all the time. I don't want that, so I'm not going to do it. We're going to shout out everyone as often as I can. That's that. All right, this is where we are now. Does anybody care about fantasy baseball at all? If you do, put it in the comments. I'm not expecting you to. The reason I ask about fantasy baseball is every year I've been in a fantasy baseball league with my son-in-law, and I generally dominate it. I spend way too much time thinking about the players, thinking about my strategy, and blah, blah, blah. Anyways, he's been following this channel, not because he's a Sarah Boone fan, but because he's quite excited about the amount of time I'm spending making this channel. and thinks that's going to give him an advantage this fantasy baseball season. So I'm thinking about doing a fantasy baseball channel that will take a little bit of time away from Sarah Boone production, but might give me the edge I need in the league. So if anyone's the least bit interested, if they have, you have a husband who does fantasy baseball, tell them, hey, I want to do a team this year. And I'll give you, the advice that you could actually be competitive. There's no guarantee. It's gambling when you play for money, but you can play in free leagues, and so if you have a significant other that's interested in baseball, maybe plays fantasy baseball. Deb Richardson, I'll explain a little bit about how it works. It's an excuse to watch baseball all year, and even if your favorite team gets knocked out, you have a reason to watch because you have players on every other team. And if your players hit more home runs than the players on the other teams, then you win. And the fun part could be if you have a significant other that's really into baseball and you just use this strategy, or, use my strategy and tips, you could be kicking his ass all year and having him going, what the fuck, where are you getting this info from? So it basically, fantasy can be done for all sports. There's fantasy hockey, there's fantasy football, which is the most popular, fantasy soccer. It's essentially a draft where you take all the players that exist in the league, draft them onto your team, or you draft them as a group. If you want to see what this is, it doesn't really explain it. The movie This Is 40 has a scene where Paul Rudd's wife thinks that he's cheating on her because he's got this secretive thing that he's doing without her, and she goes and bursts into the house, and there's 12 guys all wearing baseball jerseys picking players off of a big whiteboard, and it turns out he wasn't cheating on her. He just wanted to have something that was his. So anyway, that's fantasy baseball. I'm not going to go too far into it on the Sarah Boone stream, but if it is something anyone is even a tiny bit interested in, leave a comment on a message, on any video I do. I'll direct you to it. I'll try not to waste too much time doing it. I do like beating my son-in-law. So the very first season we did it, he'd never played fantasy baseball before, but loved watching baseball. I'm just sort of a dabbler in all kinds of things. So I was like, I'll kick your ass. And that became the rivalry. He beat me the first year by this much after losing by this much the first half of the year. So then that created a big deal. We have a trophy. It's gone on for 7 years now. Anyway, that's why I wanted to bring up fantasy baseball. Doesn't really concern 99.9% of people who are here. There's a lot of scratching in baseball, a lot of ball stuff. There's a lot of, yeah. Yeah, signals are kind of funny. A good sketch, if you have no interest in baseball and you want to see something that's just silly and kind of is everything you think baseball is, there's a Key and Peele sketch called Slap Ass. And it's a little bit about how the Dominican baseball players are a little more touchy-feely than your typical North American baseball players. But yeah, if you look up Slap Ass and Key and Peele, you'll get a long sketch that kind of it's not about baseball at all. It's just if you don't like baseball, you'll love the sketch. If you love baseball, you go, this is stupid. So there's that. Got nothing left to do tonight. This is all now just free time, party time. Danielle Chavon is in the house. She was not ready to ramble, but she's here now. All right, that's a super greeting for Danny. We've talked about everything on the agenda. We've talked about the calls. Suma, do you have anything you're doing you want to promote? Danny, anything you're doing that you want to promote? Tanika, anything you're doing you want to promote? Anyone that has a channel that's in the chat that wants to promote it, this is the time to do it. Winter Lake made it. Hey, fantastic. Claire Winston met Hank Aaron. Hank Aaron held the home run record until the drug era. Yeah, amazing hitter. Wow, that's impressive, Claire. Sammy Sosa played for the Vancouver Canadians. I never saw him play there, but he wasn't that good when he played. We didn't know he was someone worth seeing. Little skinny guy before he turned into a big home run hitter. But he did a brief stint in Vancouver. Sort of clean shaven, Jackie. This is now 1 week from my Scott Lowen shave, so we'll yeah, you can see it takes me a week to get a 5 o'clock shadow. It's not even, it's almost like a 2 o'clock shadow. There's a little bit there, a little bit. Yeah, swinging Sammy. Baseball been very good to me. That's Sammy Sosa there. Let's see, I'm curious. So we can do, usually have other things that we can just shoot the shit about. That's from last week's talk. Yeah, I haven't prepared anything any further than this. We might have to let it go if there's nothing to... Oh, Claire Winston Wade has been to a Dominican baby shower years ago, and she thinks it's still going on. Okay, yeah, there's... thank you. I wanted to... I told the barber to leave me just a little bit so I could do something. And yeah. Especially when you bounce it up like that. It looks... Conan O'Brien, too, if you're a fan of his, there's video of him on YouTube, I think at about 13 years old. Obviously, it wasn't on YouTube then, but he was recording interviews with his sister just to practice doing interviews. And he has this total, like the Northwestern news voice from the 30s, like, hey, Conan O'Brien here. How was the baseball game? And kind of fun, cute video if you're a Conan O'Hara fan. Yes, Catherine O'Hara, we mentioned at the beginning of the feed, Jackie Anderson, definitely amazing body of work of hers. We were just talking last week about Best in Show and A Mighty Wind, how for me, those, they're in the vein of Spinal Tap, but so delightfully absurd offshoots that I could watch them again and again and again. The music is contagious. The characters are both endearing and hilarious. There's a lot in Catherine O'Hara's catalog, and it's going to be she's going to be one to miss. Everyone is doing the Suma swoop. Yes. I could try and brush it all to the opposite side. I've seen Suma do that too, but no, I don't think that's as... doesn't want to. Yeah, it's not the same. It's not the same. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no, that's... Okay, we're getting in. We're causing trouble now. Oh, I should have never back brushed it. Okay, now we stay up here. It's probably because you've got blood on your keyboard, Tanika. That's exactly why you can't work that keypad. Tanika's got a bloody keypad. Don't be embarrassed. It happens to all of us. Aminals. I could totally see Sarah being an Elmira. I bet those dogs were perfectly fine before she got them. All right, so a little reminder, be following Hot Sarah, Sarah Clausen. She killed a Hispanic man just like Sarah Paulson. Thinks that she should get away with it. Court case is coming up in March, or the next trial date in March. Lawyer is asking for a May 18th court date. She's married to a law enforcement individual as well. Has some inside connections there in Washington State. Deserves justice for her victim, so I'll be following that. What else was there? Maybe we'll finish. Anyone, I know that it was Lakeisha Priot, I believe. I can't remember now. Somebody got the sequence right at the beginning. If you were here at the beginning, don't give it away for the people who joined us late. I'll try and keep doing the sequence until somebody gets it right. 10, 20, 27, 34, 44, 54, fucking hair, 61, 68, 78, 88, 95, 102, 112, 122, 129, 136, 146, 156, 163, 170, 180, 187. It's funny how I have to close my eyes for some numbers and then open them for the others. 194, 204, 214, 221, 228, 238, 248, 255, 262, 272, 282. Has anyone got the sequence yet? 289, 296, 306, 316. Pretty close, Winter. This would be possibly, if the interest was going up, I could see it being calculated in these units. If this was a sobriety test and I was able to count in the increments I was counting right now correctly, I think you're not even allowed to do the nose test and any of those, because I kicked ass on the numbers. Anybody get it? I don't see it. I don't see it. Okay. I'll start again, but we'll stop it at when we get to 100. Pay attention, because this is a number we all know. There's a sequence here. 10, 20, 27, 34, 44, 54, 61, 68, 78, 88, 95, 102. We're counting by 10, 10, 7, 7s. 10, 10, 7, 7, 10, 20, 27, 34, 44, 54, 61, 68, 78, 88, 95, 102. 10, 10, 7, 7s. That's the magic number for today. If you remember Pee-wee's Playhouse, next time you hear 10, 10, 7, 7 today, you go, woo! All right. I think I've been loud enough. We have an 11-11-76 here. You're lucky that you're not 6'7" Liz Mariposa, or all the kids would go crazy doing this every time you said your last 2 years. The dogs were the family pets. Yeah. Well, the dogs and George, sadly. All right, I'm going to cut the back screen. We'll go back. This is my lovely shower curtain. Starry, starry night here in the Dandy house. We're back to reality. I shouldn't have touched my hair. Yeah, just butters it up there. There we go. Oh, that kind of looks like that dude from Sex Pistols, I think. Johnny Rotten? A little bit. Yeah. Yeah, I just got to squint my face and look like I'm pissed off at things. What? What? There we go. Yeah. For short hair, I can do a lot with it. Feeling fine and dandy. Thank you very much, Danielle Chavon. Bullocks. Yeah, never mind the Bullocks. We're the Sex Pistols. God save the Queen. The fascist regime. Yeah, Sex Pistols. I'm pretty vacant. Vacant. Good times. All right, I can't just keep singing. If you do want to see me singing, you have to find the post where I celebrated 500 subscribers. I sing Institutionalized by Suicidal Tendencies at a karaoke bar that normally is frequented by Johnny Cash singers and Elvis. So there's that. I think we're done. I think we're into the goodbyes. 2 hours, this feels good. Did Johnny Rotten do I Did It My Way? That would be worth checking out. I'm working to 1,000, but I'm happy for every single one of you. I'd rather have 500 subs that love to be here than 1,000 subs where half of them are like that guy who was giving me get the fuck out of here bullshit. That said, I want at least 100 of those types of subs, but not 50-50. That would be too many. It was fast, wasn't it, Tanika? I used to get all worked up and like, oh God, what am I going to talk about for 2 hours? And now it feels like, oh my God, it's over. It's over already. But I will, if you need more of me reading without the glitches, I'm going to try and read Robinson Crusoe tonight. Keep an eye on Dan D Public Reads. You can look that up on your YouTube search bar. It's got a picture of a bearded man sitting under the beach in my cartoon format. I'll be reading chapter 5 tonight. In the previous chapters, Robinson went out to sea. He got kidnapped by pirates. He engineered his own escape. He lived as a slave for a while. And now he is, I guess, at the next stage of his journey. It's been fascinating reading. A little difficult because it's, written in the 1800s, about the 1600s. So it's a little bit like reading Shakespeare where I'm struggling through it as I go, but it's also the first time I've read it. I'm familiar with beats of the story, but not with the story itself. So enjoy it with me if it's the sort of thing you're interested in. And if nothing else, throw it on before you go to sleep. I get the watch hours, you fall asleep, it's boring, that's even better. So yeah, lots of ways to enjoy that content. What did I press there? That didn't do anything. I'll give you a little shout or a little shot of the dog and exposure of the studio. There we go. Lola, anything to say to the good people? No, just happy as clam to be sitting here listening to my voice. All right, fantastic. Well, that's Lola. Lola and I are going to go out for a walk later to calm down. All right, that's enough of Lola. This is me. This is the studio. Behind the actor's studio, my setup, my little desk and table, drinks. Peek behind the curtain. I'll mount it just so that I can do a professional goodbye. What do I say when I say it's time for goodbye? I say, I hope you're all fine because I'm Dan D, and this is the end of the stream.